Let's start with a hard fact, Nearly half of all working people are on a direct path to outliving their savings. Research from last year painted a stark picture. About 45% of Americans will face a significant shortfall if they retire at age 65. This is not some distant, abstract problem. It is a clear and present danger to the future you dream of. It is the quiet crisis unfolding in households just like yours. A slow-motion collision between rising costs and inadequate preparation. The traditional promise of a golden retirement is fading for millions, replaced by a growing anxiety about what the future holds. This reality should not paralyze you with fear, but instead must serve as a powerful wake-up call, a jolt to look at your financial future with new eyes and urgency. The core of this problem is a dangerous assumption. Too many still believe a pension will be enough. A pension from an employer. A pension from the government. This is the retirement lie. We're told to work hard, play by the rules, and a comfortable future will be our reward. But the rules have changed dramatically. The systems we were taught to trust are under immense strain. Relying on them alone is a gamble most cannot afford to lose. No one will care more about your financial security than you. The responsibility for dignity and choice in retirement rests on your shoulders. This isn't doom, it's empowerment. Understanding the scale of the problem is the first step. The financial gap is real and growing. In the U.S., Social Security is the primary income for households earning under 50Ks. Yet the average benefit in 2026 is just over $24,000 a year. Meanwhile, average retiree expenses are over $60,000. This is not a gap, it is a chasm. Financial insecurity has become a shocking norm for older adults. Many struggle to afford basic needs like housing, food, healthcare. The dream of a comfortable retirement is slipping away, but it is not gone. It just requires a new plan. Feeling overwhelmed is understandable. The numbers can feel impossibly large, and the path forward can seem unclear. But you are not helpless. Facing this truth is meant to ignite action, not despair. You have the power to change your trajectory. You can escape the trap that ensnares those who passively wait by taking control, making a plan, and executing it with consistency. You can build the financial foundation you need. This essay will show you how. It will provide simple, actionable steps to build your own fund and secure your future, starting today. This retirement crisis is not confined to one country. It is a global phenomenon shaking the foundations of developed nations. In the United States, the gap between what people have and what they need is staggering. The typical Gen X household has only managed to save around $40,000 for retirement. This is a terrifyingly small number for a generation now entering its 50s. The disparity is also stark between income levels. High earners contribute nearly 13 times more to their retirement funds than low earners, creating a permanent divide in financial security. This means that for a huge portion of the population, the American dream of a secure retirement is becoming an impossible fantasy, built on a system that favors the few. Across the Atlantic in the United Kingdom, the ground is also shifting. The government is pushing the state pension age further into the future to cope with demographic pressures. The age is already set to rise to 67 between 2026 and 2028, with a further increase to 68 planned. This means millions will have to work longer and will receive state support for fewer years of their lives. Even in countries praised for their pension systems, cracks are beginning to show. Canada boasts massive pension assets, totaling over 165% of its GDP. Yet underneath this impressive figure, a critical problem remains unresolved, turning those assets into reliable, lifelong income for individuals. Experts identify income in retirement as the single biggest challenge for the country's defined contribution systems. This means that even with large pots of money in the system, the average Canadian still faces uncertainty about how to make it last. The structure is there, But the individual security is not guaranteed, leaving many to wonder if their savings will be enough to sustain them through a 20 or 30-year retirement. Meanwhile, in Australia, the superannuation system has been a pillar of retirement planning for decades. However, rising living costs and longer lifespans are changing the definition of enough. The average retirement balance for a man is around AU 300,000, and for a woman, it is even lower at AU 250,000. While these sums seem substantial, they often fall short of the benchmark needed for a truly comfortable retirement, which some experts place closer to AU 725,000 or more. The system gets people started, but it does not automatically get them to the finish line. In every one of these nations, the message is the same. The old model is broken, and a new personal approach is required. Relying solely on a government pension is one of the riskiest financial decisions you can make. The first and most obvious danger is political risk. Governments are constantly changing, and so are their priorities and policies. A promise made by one administration can be altered or broken by the next. Rising pension ages are already happening in places like the UK. A government facing budget pressures can easily decide to raise the eligibility age, change the formula for calculating benefits, increase taxes on retirement income. These are not theoretical risks. People are affected right now. Your financial future is too important to leave in the hands of politicians. The second major flaw is fighting inflation. Cost of living tweaks often lag behind real expenses. Healthcare costs, housing costs. A small annual increase may look good on paper, but if real costs rise faster, your purchasing power shrinks every year. That slow erosion can turn a comfortable retirement into years of struggle. A pension that seems adequate today could be painfully insufficient 10 years from now, 15 years from now. Furthermore, people are living longer. Pensions were designed when life expectancies were much shorter. They weren't built for 20 years, 30 years, or even 40 years in retirement. The ratio of workers to retirees is shrinking, putting huge strain on public finances. To stay solvent, governments can raise taxes, reduce benefits, make people wait longer to collect. None of those options are good for you. The core issue is control. Relying on a government pension means you have no control. You're a passenger. They can change the speed, change the route, or stop before you reach your destination. Building your own retirement fund puts you in the driver's seat. It gives you control over destination and path. It turns you from a passive recipient into the active architect of your financial independence and security. The journey to financial independence begins with a single, powerful action: paying yourself first. This is the first pillar of your personal retirement plan. Before you pay your bills, buy groceries, or spend on anything else, set aside a portion of your income for your future. This simple shift in mindset is the most critical step you can take. Make it automatic. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings or investment account on payday. Automating removes willpower and emotion from the equation. The money is saved before you even have a chance to miss it. You do not need to start with a huge amount. The power of this strategy lies in consistency, not initial size. Even a small sum, saved regularly over a long period, can grow into a substantial nest egg via compound interest. If you can only afford to save 1% or 2% right now, start there. Commit to increasing that percentage whenever you get a raise or your situation improves. If your employer offers a retirement plan with matching Capture It, it's your first priority. An employer match is free money. Failing to capture it is like turning down a guaranteed 100% return. Think of your savings rate as the engine of your retirement plan. The higher your savings rate, the faster you'll reach your destination. Common advice: save 10 to 15%, but aim higher if you can. Every extra percentage point shortens your working career and boosts resilience. Once you have established a consistent savings habit, the next step is to put that money to work. For the vast majority of people, the simplest and most effective way to do this is through low-cost index funds. An index fund holds all the stocks or bonds in a specific market index, like the S&P 500 in the United States or a global stock market index. Instead of trying to pick individual winning stocks, which is incredibly difficult even for professionals, you are buying a small piece of the entire market. This gives instant diversification and captures overall economic growth over time. The key advantage is incredibly low cost. Actively managed funds, where a manager picks stocks, charge high fees that eat away returns year after year. Index funds are passively managed with minimal expenses. Over decades, that fee gap can add up to tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Simplicity, low cost. Building a portfolio with index funds is straightforward. A common and effective approach for someone in the middle of their career is to allocate the majority of their investments, perhaps 80%, to a broad stock market index fund for long-term growth. The remaining 20% can be placed in a bond index fund, which provides stability and reduces volatility. As you get closer to retirement, you can gradually shift your allocation to be more conservative, perhaps moving toward a 60-40 or 50-50 split between stocks and bonds. The most important thing is to create a simple plan and stick with it, rebalancing your portfolio back to your target allocation just once a year. It is crucial to use the right accounts for your investments to maximize tax advantages. In the United States, this means prioritizing 401ks and IRAs. In the United Kingdom, you should use ISAs and personal pensions. In Canada, RRSPs and TFSAs are your best tools. In Australia, your superannuation account is the primary vehicle. These accounts let money grow tax-deferred or tax-free, providing another powerful boost to your long-term returns. Do not be intimidated by the terminology. The concept is simple. Save consistently, keep your costs low with index funds, and use tax-advantaged accounts to let your money grow as efficiently as possible for decades, you know. Beyond the stock market, there is another powerful asset class that can form a critical part of your retirement strategy: real estate. For most people, the journey with property begins with owning their own home. Paying off your mortgage before you retire is a monumental step toward financial security. It effectively eliminates your largest monthly expense, dramatically reducing the amount of income you will need from your savings. Living in a paid-for home is like having an extra tax-free income stream. It provides stability and peace of mind, freeing up cash flow for healthcare, travel, other goals. It is the defensive bedrock of a solid retirement plan. For those willing to take another step, real estate can also be a powerful offensive tool. Owning a rental property can provide a steady and reliable stream of income that acts like a private pension you control. The monthly rent checks can cover the property's mortgage, taxes, maintenance, while ideally leaving you with positive cash flow. Over time, your tenants are effectively paying down your mortgage for you, building your equity in the asset. This combination of monthly income and long-term appreciation can be a potent engine for wealth creation, providing a source of retirement income that is not directly tied to the daily fluctuations of the stock market. Of course, becoming a landlord is not a passive activity. It requires work. You need to research your market, find the right property screen tenants, and handle maintenance issues. It is best to treat it as a small business. However, the rewards can be significant. If direct ownership seems too daunting, there are other ways to invest in property. Real estate investment trusts, or REITs, are companies that own and operate income-producing real estate. You can buy shares in REITs just like you would buy shares in any other company, allowing you to invest in a diversified portfolio of properties with a very small amount of capital. REITs offer the benefits of real estate ownership, including regular dividend payments, without the hassles of being a landlord. They are a great way to add property exposure to your investment portfolio alongside your index funds. A balanced approach could involve owning your own home, investing in broad market index funds for growth, and adding a rental property or a R8 for income and diversification. This multi-pronged strategy creates a more resilient financial structure, with different assets working together to build your wealth and provide the income you will need to live comfortably in retirement. So, how much do you actually need to save to achieve a comfortable retirement? How do you even pick a number? While the exact figure depends on your lifestyle and location, we can establish clear, realistic targets. It is crucial to have a number in mind, a concrete goal to work toward. These targets generally assume you will own your home outright by retirement. That ownership significantly lowers your living expenses. They aim for comfortable, not extravagant living, choices, and security. This is your finish line. The amount that means financial independence. United States target, $700,000 to $1 million. Combined with Social Security, that can generate roughly $30,000 to $50,000 or more per year, depending on withdrawals. United Kingdom target, £400,000 to £700,000 to supplement the state pension. Canada target, $700,000 to $1 million Canadian dollars in RRSPs and accounts, alongside CPP and OAS. Australia target, $725,000 to over $1 million Australian dollars, with home ownership to fund about 25 years. These numbers seem large, but they are achievable with discipline and time. You are not saving all of this by hand. Compound growth does much of the work, especially if you start early. Use an online retirement calculator to run your own numbers. Check your plan against real projections. Once you have a nest egg, you need a smart spending strategy. The old 4% rule: withdraw 4% in year one, then adjust for inflation each year. Many experts now recommend a more conservative starting point, around 3.5%. A better approach is flexibility. In good market years, you can take a bit more. In down years, withdraw less and tighten the belt. That dynamic approach boosts the odds your money lasts your lifetime. The retirement crisis is real, and it is here. The old promises of a secure future provided by governments and employers are no longer reliable. Relying on these crumbling systems is a passive choice that leads directly into the 95% trap, where financial anxiety and diminished choices become the norm. But you do not have to accept this fate. This is not just a story about numbers on a spreadsheet. It is a story about your life, your freedom, your dignity. It is about having the resources to enjoy the longevity science has given us to spend time with loved ones and to pursue your passions without the constant worry of running out of money. The emotional weight of this challenge can be heavy. It is easy to feel behind, discouraged, or even hopeless. These feelings are valid, but they must not lead to inaction. Fear is the enemy of progress. The most powerful antidote to financial anxiety is taking action, no matter how small. You do not need to have the perfect, all-encompassing plan from day one. You simply need to start. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and the journey to $1 million nest egg begins with saving that first dollar. Every small, consistent action builds momentum and replaces fear with a powerful sense of control over your own destiny. If you are young, time is your greatest superpower. The magic of compounding can turn small, regular investments into a fortune. If you are in midlife, you have the advantage of a higher income and the urgency to make significant progress through catch-up contributions. Even if you are near retirement, it is not too late. Cutting costs, working a few extra years if possible, planning a phased retirement can make a massive difference. Every dollar you do not spend is a dollar you do not need to have saved. Every extra year you work is one less year your savings need to support you. There is always a move you can make. So, here is your final call to action. Do not close this page and promise to think about it later. Later becomes never. Your future self is depending on the choices you make today. Take one immediate, concrete step right now. Open that tax-advantaged retirement account. Set up an automatic savings transfer, even for just $20. Log into your workplace pension and increase your contribution by 1%. Make your first purchase of a low-cost index fund. The single most important day in your financial life is not the day you retire. It is the day you decide to take control. Make that day today. Your future is waiting.